Let me know if you can hear me all right, MC, because I'm sitting here talking and my mic's not even on. All right. So I am still waiting on Bitcoin to break. It's a retracement line. Bounce in oil I got. And of course, gold. I just closed out 8 of the gold trade. And the short on ES, S&P hasn't really gone anywhere yet. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I did just post an image of gold before I closed out the 8. So I had 10 on, pretty much 10 across the board. I went in light on all of them. And really on Bitcoin, I should be around a 1-to-1 on that. Still in the platinum trade. It hasn't gone anywhere. I know, Candace, you asked me about using targets, take profit levels. I don't. I rarely will use a take profit level. And I definitely don't on my Forex trades. So I just more move my stops. I've just gotten used to that. Sometimes I'll set an alarm and get up in the middle of the night if I've got a trade on. Normally, here's the thing. Normally, I will not get into a trade like right before I go to bed or right before I leave the house. So when I take a trade, I know I'm going to be able to watch it for a half hour to an hour. So by that time, normally, either I'm stopped out or I've pulled partial and moved my stop to break even. So I was going to close some on Bitcoin and I didn't. Got to talking here because it was up from my entry. It hit over 1-to-1. I don't know why that's not working here. So, let's see. Yeah, so my Bitcoin at 11,363 yesterday. And then, of course, with the losses that I took on the trades, it was down to 9,760. That was when we ended the stream. So when I ended it, the realized profit right here, or the lower number, which I know you can't see my pointer, but below where the arrow is, that was 14,000 now. We started at 11,363. We ended the stream at 9,760. Okay. So because of the losing day. So I've got that back up now, obviously, to 14,609. So I've made back way more than what we lost yesterday. I had it calculated earlier because it was up to 12,000. But with closing out gold here, partial, then that's allowed us to jump over the 12,000. So as of this morning, I had it at 12,000 because I took a couple trades last night on my account, and then I mirrored them on this one. So that I would have a track of them here on this account as well. So I'm doing both in both screens now. So I have my left monitor on my account and then my right one's on this one. So I am mirroring my trades across the board. So just bear with me while I'm trying to keep it all under control. So it was 12,263 this morning. So now we're up over $2,000 on the day, basically, so far. So I'm going to close out part of Bitcoin. So the reason why, I know it's just broke my counter trend line. Of course, we don't know how far it's going to go. So it's just now hit 2 to 1. Okay. So hitting that 2 to 1 is good, right? So we are going to close out runners on. And now we've got 2 of those we'll leave. I'm not going to move the stop on it yet. So we'll keep the trade on Bitcoin, closed out 8, and I've got to look over on this other side. 156 on Bitcoin. And I don't have any new paper. I've run out of paper. I did not get to trade and record the Australian dollar last night. You know, I was going to trade Australian news. However, in my conversation with Mrs. Duck about getting groceries, I told her I was trading the Australian dollar, so let's do it. I said tomorrow. This was yesterday. I said, hey, I'm trading Australian news. Let's go to the store tomorrow night. Well, I don't know if she wasn't paying attention to the conversation or what, but so we went last night. So I did not get to trade it. What? Oh, hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry. Had to go get the blender going for smoothies. Breakfast smoothies. Someone let me know if you can hear me all right. Should be back on. Sorry about that. I missed pulling some profit here on oil. I wanted to close out part of the oil trade as well because we were in profit on it. Now it's pulling back on us. So obviously we're screaming on gold. Don't really have to worry about that trade. Bitcoin finally broke out. So Bitcoin is at its high to break. So, we're looking for it to break the high over here. If it'll let me draw it. So it's trying. So I can move my stop to break even on Bitcoin. I won't move it any more than that right now. I want to give it that room to pull back. Okay. I'll have to go back and look at what we've locked in on everything. And then gold the same. Gold's dropped quite a bit, so we'll go ahead and move our stop just to break even on those. So right now those are profitable trades locked in, partial on both of those, and we can't lose anything on them. So ES, we're getting a buy come in. So we might close that out on ES and then kind of wait that out for US stock market open. We got to wait on the candle to close before that buy signal is valid. Now on oil, I wanted to close out and didn't get to, so that's just because I wasn't really paying attention to it to close out. Was starting to stream and all, so that's okay. We'll look for a bounce here, but it was in profit. So yeah, see where oil had hit. Oil actually did hit 2 to 1, and that's where I wanted to close out the 8. Yeah, we still got about 15 minutes, or 15 seconds, sorry, before the candle closes. So we've hit 336 on gold. So we're up on the day. So again, I'm just going to mention, and I got in with just 10 on each of these, okay? And that's it. So you have to decide how long you're going to trade for the day. We could be done. And it would be done early. It's only 9:06. So right now we've got what? We've only got 100 and something sitting. Oh, I needed to close this. I'm sorry. So I am closing the ES trade because it switched over to a buy. So I don't know that I'll get involved in ES. As I say that, it may, continue up. I gotta remember to click there. So gold, I am going to move my stop on gold. I just want to move it above that high right there. So we have it above the high here, and we'll leave it there. Is that too much with the trade marker on? You guys let me know. I'll take these two lines off. You guys let me know if having the profit target tool on there, if that's too much. Because I know right off the bat we're looking at 4 screens. So now, so going back to, first of all, Bitcoin. It had a buy signal. I did not get in on the buy signal. I waited for it to pull back and dip. So when it pulled back down in here, this red candle, what I was looking at was, and the reason why I didn't buy there is because it was at my counter trend line, okay, my retracement line. So I had a buy signal on this green candle, but it was at the retracement line. So I wasn't going to buy right at that line because I don't want to expect it to break the line. I'd love to see it, signal me a buy and break the line. And if it would have broke the line, it would have been right under this high. So you have to decide, are you going to take that chance and risk that it won't break that, break that high? So getting in on this buy signal here on this candle, when that candle closed, I basically had to say to myself, am I going to take the chance or the risk that it will break that retracement line? And the answer was no. I wasn't going to get in and risk that. If I would have, it wouldn't have been in with the 10. It would have been in with like 2 or 4. That's it. Again, lowering my risk because, or lowering my exposure as to what I have open, because it would have been a riskier entry because it was right there at the retracement line. So I waited it out, was looking for it to break the retracement line, tap up here about the high and either break that for my entry or come back and bounce off the backside of the retracement line and then get in. So again, even though we have the signals, you don't always have to take them right then and there. We're still looking at highs, lows. Our trend lines, we're not, we don't give up on our standard tools that we use every day and have been using for years. So what I did was I waited for it to pull back. So as it was pulling back, I had the first red candle up there, and then this long one started coming down. I looked over here to the left, and I'm like, okay, I've got, a turn here. So I've got where it kind of double bottomed here, 3-minute chart, we got kind of a double bottom. I'm looking at the inside of that move, and I drew my horizontal tool there, and I said, okay, I'm in. When it gets down, I'd like to see a green candle, and it played out well. I had that green candle right there, and that's what I jumped in on. So I got in on the pullback. So I got in on like the best possible, which doesn't happen, guys, a lot. So got in the best possible point that I could. So I need to move my stop on Bitcoin. We're only up 84 on the runners, but we've already closed out 2. Oh, and I need to get on oil. We'll move it in there. So oil, we want to close out 8. Right? So we got 10 on 200. We're going to close out 8. I'm going to close off 80% of the trade. And then we'll go ahead and modify the stop. Guys, I accidentally closed a trade out last night too when I didn't want to. I hate when that happens. So we're going to move the stop up just a little better and break even on it. And that locked us in 160 on oil. And it went back to that 2-to-1. So now I didn't get to close. So let's talk about oil real quick. So I got in oil, back in here, and it went up to 2-to-1. It hit level 3, which is 2-to-1, right? And that's where I wanted to close. I would have closed out 8 there. However, I don't know what I was doing. I was in here getting the stream going, doing whatever. So I didn't get to close. So I sat in low on the pullback. If I would have gotten to close 8 there, and I would have closed 8, then what would I have done when it pulled back? I would have went back in with 10. So I missed that opportunity. I would have closed out 8 here. We locked in 160 with it up here. So we'd have got about 130, let's say, somewhere in there, 120, 130. Closing out those 8. And then when it pulled back and dipped, we would have put another 10 back on and then could have just closed out 8 of those up here at level 3 again. I would have closed 8 when it hit level 3. So not way up here where we just did. I would have closed 8 as it approached level 3. And, of course, you could put that pending order for sell limit order for 8 and have those 8 close. So right now we're popping around. So, this is completely different from yesterday, obviously. Yesterday, with no news, we had a lot of back and forth direction, took losses, and where today we're starting to get some breakouts and things moving. Now, they're really steep, so we don't expect these things to hold up, long term. So, of course, we got Kramer in the background. We'd have a trade line up on oil. And again, I'm not looking to do anything with ES till stock market opens now. So we could have, a couple lines on Bitcoin. That line there is going to be our main trade line, and then we would have a steeper one, but we just don't expect those to hold up. So as I draw a steeper line on Bitcoin, we don't expect that to go up. So that's still a valid trade line. However, we don't expect it to hold up long term. Okay. So that's our inner. I would not draw one more aggressive than that. You can. You don't have to. So you only need 2 in there. I wish by default it would send these tools to the back as we draw them in. I'm constantly adjusting stuff like these to the back of the screen. That one's already on the back. So right now we're sitting with 449. Crud. I didn't write down what we were at the beginning. Whatever I told you guys. trying to find my paper. I don't know, guys. It was 14,000 something. And that was after closing. I'll go in and look here, and we'll mark what we're up on each one. So I'm going to take off the inside bottom line. We know, well, I'll leave it there, but we know why I took it where I took it was that it pulled back. I didn't even have the trend line on here, guys. I wish I did. This trend line here would have helped in my decision making. So, you know, as it pulled down and it was bouncing near that inside bottom and gave me that green candle, that's where I got in. I didn't even have this trend line on from there. So the trend line was from, if I drew it from here to here, then that would have come into play, but I didn't. So right now I've anchored it from there up to this, that swing low. But it pretty much turned right there, because the trend line would have been, I'm going to move it for a second just to see. So the trend line would have been right there. So see, it kind of peeked through a little bit, actually. So I'm kind of glad I didn't have the trend line there, because if I had the trend line here, I'm not so sure I would have taken that. I would have waited. I would have had to wait for it to cross back over the trend line, which it did here. So I'd have missed. I would have got in a little bit later on my entry, actually, if I would have had that trend line there. So thankful I didn't have it there. So we're going to mark, or we're looking right now to see if gold breaks this high. So it hit level 4, which is our 3-to-1 level. I don't know if, you know, we don't ever know if things are going to keep trending. So, and we expect pullbacks, right? So we don't know how long things are going to trend. We expect things to pull back. So that being said, we're going to... you have to decide, are you going to sit through the pullbacks and stay in, or are you just out? So right now, again, we could close everything out and be up another 424 for the day. So you have to decide if you're going to trade all day, not. How many hours you're going to trade. Hopefully everybody has that decision already made. That's something you should think of over the weekend. And then know how long you're going to sit in trades, or what's your, you know, weekly goal or daily goal. So Bitcoin is pushing up. We've hit level 6, so it's kind of gone 6.5. So we definitely want to look at moving stop there. If we move the stop anywhere up in there, we have no protection. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That if we take our stop and move it, where do we move it to? Okay, right now we have some highs in its way. You know, if we move it, say, up a little bit, well, we still have a little bit of protection against getting stopped out. So, but we're losing out on quite a bit. Okay, so we have to decide, are we going to move the stop up above, you know, say this high? Are we going to move it above this high and put the stop up in here somewhere? You know, say like level, you know, under level 5. Give it 2 levels back, because it just hit 7. And go 2 levels back. So I could see if it pulls back, it's going to stop in here somewhere. So it's one of those things that's, do we move our stop and put it up in the middle of all this? And we just have to know we're going to get taken out. You know, do we close out one and lock in more profit? I'd like to see it at least hit 200 before I close out one. Okay, we're at 130. I'd like to see it hit 2, and then we could close one out. So if I'm going to do that, I'd get, you know, this ready over here for 1 to get ready to close. And then just, you know, get ready to hit the button as it goes up. So just keep an eye on it. So it's always, and it's always a decision that you have to make. You know, where are you going to move your stop? How aggressive are you going to move your stop? Are you going to trail 1 level back, 2 level back? I've seen guys push stops as it pushes. So, like on Bitcoin, as this kept pushing up, they'd be moving their stop under the candle. So each candle, they would have pushed their stop up a little, a little, a little. This push up right here, I've seen people actually push their stop up as it moves. So as it pushes up, they're sitting here, you know, pushing their stop, pushing their stop, pushing their stop, pushing their stop, and then probably would have got taken out on that wick. So it's just something you have to decide how you're going to manage your stop loss to lock in profit. Oil finally hit our level 3. I'm not going to draw a line in here because our level 3 line is right at that high. So typically I would draw a horizontal line there, across there, but I'm not going to do it because we already have a line. But what I am going to do is move my stop up under that high. So we're going to lock in a little more. It's not much because it's only up 52. So, you know, move my stop up a little bit on oil, and, you know, it pretty much kind of pulled back down. You know, we had a wick test of this high. So, looks like it's bouncing, which is good for us. So went ahead and moved the stop up there. We can move it up a little bit more. Kind of trail it up a little bit. Still not interested in ES as it's moving sideways. So Bitcoin I'm going to leave. I don't want to trail my stop tight on Bitcoin. I want to leave it some room. Yes, it's going to pull back. You know, we've already locked in quite a bit on it. And let's see, we just got signals across the board on something. Oh, that's on the Australian dollar. We're not on that right now. I've still got my Australian dollar chart up with signals on it. All right, so gold, we're looking for it to break. Again, I'm not going to draw a horizontal line on gold, just the same as I mentioned on, you know, oil. We've got a, you know, wick down here that tested level 4, which is our 3-to-1. So I don't really need to draw. You know, typically I would come in if I wouldn't have the profit target tool on there and draw that. And that would be my low to break. If it breaks and pushes past that low, if it breaks and pushes and closes past that low, okay, then we will move the stop down above this high. You know, at that point I want to look to move my stop down above this high in here. That's if it pushes past this, because if it doesn't, it could pull back up and possibly test this wick here, this area, and not just the wick, but up in here. So my stop's kind of close to that. I'll mark it as a high to break. If it breaks that high, it's more than likely going to take me out, right? So we're up 316 on gold. So what I'm going to do on gold, since we're up 324, there's no reason not to close out half. Oh, I clicked the wrong button, guys. We don't want that. So that's I made a mistake and accidentally clicked sell. It happens. Trust me, it happens. Especially if you're trading 6 things at one time. So, I was going to close out half of my gold, but I accidentally added one in. So, what I'm doing is I'm just going to leave I move my stop to protect. We'll leave it at that. We'll see what happens. I could still go in and close out 2, because that's what I wanted to do, was close out the 1. It just moved my order down, which I don't like, because now it's moved it down a little bit closer to this high right here. I should have just closed out the 2 guys. So I'm going to go back and do that. So again, I wanted to close out 1, and instead I accidentally added. And that wasn't my plan, so I need to just close out the 2 then. I should have done that as soon as I placed the order, the extra. I don't know what I was thinking. Still not awake. Still waiting on that second cup of coffee here to kick in. All right, so I did go ahead and close out. So again, I accidentally hit sell when I put 1 in here. Needed to hit buy because we were at like 300 something. So I was going to close out 1 and lock in that, $150, $60, whatever it was. And instead I accidentally hit sell. So it put the order on, moved my order down. And then what I should have done immediately after I did that was just close the 2. Right? Because that was not my plan to sell 1 there. If it would have been my plan to stack in, then that's a different story. We could have done the same with Bitcoin, but I chose to leave 2 on it. So on gold, I wanted to lock in because we just don't know, are we going to get a deeper pullback. We're looking at 2 things here on gold. We're looking at the high in here to see what is it going to break this right here. I need to put those together. So we're looking at structure. Okay. Right now, as it's been pushing down, we've been making lower lows and lower highs continually. Right? We have a lower, kind of a dip in here. This is more sideways than anything. I call this a stop and go, where it kind of stopped for a little bit and then went. So I just call those stop and go typically, because it didn't really pull back. So that's more of a stop and go. Whereas here it printed a low, kind of pulled back here, went down, another low, then high. So and then this is a higher low. So right now, is this gonna switch bearish? Are we due for a bigger pullback? And if it does pull back and breaks this high, I'm gonna look to be taken out because of where my order is now. The stock market is officially open. Oil's pushing back, and it's broke that high. So oil's pushed back and broke this high. So it's should have taken me out. What's going on? There we go. All right, so we're out of oil. I'd look for possible bounce to get back in. We'll see what it does on the trend line. I'd move my stop kind of aggressive on it just to capture some extra. So I have to decide on oil. Am I done? Am I done with oil? Am I gonna, look to get back in if it gives me a setup or signal? Right now, the 15-minute bottom bar is red on oil. I don't know why it doesn't show my mouse sometimes, guys. I got to get used to that. I'm sorry. It's not like the other platform. There's your opening bell. Man, according to my watch, they're a minute late. No, I'm kidding. So, again, the bottom bar, 15-minute bar is red. So, the next signal would be a buy. You know, if it starts to turn, if it bounces. If it goes further and deeper down past that trend line, well, then the 1 hour may end up actually turning red. So I'm going to wait for a buy. I already have 10 loaded here. So I just have to hit the buy order. Typically, I might buy on something like that. Let me kind of zoom in here. Where it's, we got a green candle starting here. So that's why sometimes you'll see I have an earlier entry on some of my trades than the signal. I'm just so used to trading that way that it's pulled back. It looks like it's bouncing off our trend line or trade line up on oil. And I want to see that green candle before I buy. And typically I'm in. So sometimes you'll see that I'm in and I'm in before the signal. That's why. So we're going to get taken out of gold. That's going to be like what? A little $20 runner. So glad I closed out the other ones after I placed them on that. Because I would have done nothing but had a lost back more of my profit on it if I would have left that on after I accidentally sold. So Bitcoin, another drive up to level 8. So we're waiting to see it, you know, obviously break that. And it's wicked above it. We need candle to close up there. So we need that push. We need that candle to close above. So as far as moving my stop on Bitcoin, what are we up here? 145. We do have one we could close, but I'm not going to do that. So I don't want to close, but since it's pushing above that previous high, you know, up here, and again, sometimes I just won't draw those high to break, low to break lines on, but since it's pushing above that, and just now hit level 9, move the stop up below this low. So talking about Bitcoin, and you guys can't see that any longer, so because my head's in the way. So let's move back here and show you the back part of the chart again. Because remember, our stop was down in here, and I pushed the stop up, but did not push it above this high. Okay? So we were safe. We stayed in the trade during this pullback. So if I would have been trailing, because look, it hit level 8. So on Bitcoin, when it hit level 8, if I was trailing 2 levels back, I would have had my stop at level 6. And on that pullback, it would have taken me out only to keep going. So I'm using highs and lows as far as my stop placement. So again, it really is up to you guys how you trail your stop. Remember I said some people will trail just under the current candle. And on this long push, they actually will push their stop, as it's moving. Push your stop up, push your stop up, and then you get stopped out. And you're looking for another entry. I don't mind looking for another entry. And there we are on gold. That candle, remember I said that's typically what I would take. Is just take that. So right now it's up a lot. I'll put a marker on it. I didn't take it, but we'll put a marker there. But again, that's it. That's oil pulling back, bouncing off the trend line, and giving a green candle go. Also, if you look, if you want to come in and draw an inside bottom in here, the inside of this move, right, where it consolidated, went sideways for a while, it pretty much came back to that level. Not quite to the tick, but that's all right. So basically, again, we had a drop, consolidated sideways movement, and then a push back up. That sideways movement is what you mark for your inside bottom. The inside bottom is the bottom of a downward swing that goes up, and then an inside top would be as it goes up and then comes down, the inside of that move. That's your inside tops and bottoms. And the reason they're important to notice is because what happens if something comes down, like oil came down and turned here at that, inside bottom, what does that do for us? Well, it made a higher low. Okay, it made a higher low. If it goes past the inside top, then it's more likely either failed to hold up this level, or it's just testing down here and you get a double bottom. So you really got to stay focused on what's happening, and it's not easy to do it on 4 charts or 6 charts. So that's why I recommend doing 1, and then you can always add 2. So we're out of gold. 1 hour and 4 hours still short. So what I'd like to do is possibly look for another entry. So again, I think I'm going to leave the lines on there. I would draw a trend line on gold, and then a retracement line, and look for that to break. So we're not in, but we're looking for another entry. Go ahead and load our trade deck with 10 in there and get ready. On Bitcoin, what I'm doing is I'm waiting. See, there's our buy on oil, but it's late. I mean, it was way later than what I would have got in. So we finally got a buy on oil. Because of this push up, you're always going to miss part of the move. Waiting on the not a lot. Like, look at this one here. It pushed down, sideways movement, and on this candle break, on the break of that high level in here, on the break of that, you had a buy, which is a valid entry to buy. So sometimes you'll miss more of the move. This one down here, this buy, okay, which was on, and I'm down on oil, which is on this candle, same thing. It dipped, and then when it broke, this kind of sideways here, up another buy. This one, however, since we had a huge push down, it has to counter that move some. See how this move down was small? So it doesn't take much of a move. This move down was small. So it takes part of that move back up before you get the signal. This one, because we had such a huge drop, it just took more of that move to signal. So again, I would have got in there on the bounce of the trend line. So if I was going to get in, think about getting in now on this buy, and the hesitation on the buy, and again, this goes back to I'm not taking the signals. The signals are there to signal me a possible entry. And if the 1 hour and 4 hour on oil are what? They're green. So I only want to look to buy. That's it. I only want to look to buy. So we got to buy signal. However, when that candle signaled, where was it? Well, it was right at this high level. From this high here, that after it dipped and went to try and break it, it failed to break it. So I would not have taken that right off the buy. I'm waiting on a push above or a pullback. So right now we've got a pullback. So is it going to turn right here, or is it going to turn, is it going to pull back down and create a higher low in here? So I have to decide, do I want to put a trade on now? Do I want to wait and see if it pulls back some? One thing I could do is you can always put a pending order up above in case it breaks and pushes, and that's what I call safety order. So what I would do is come in and do a buy stop. I won't do it with the full amount of contracts. So I've been trading 10 today. I will do half that. I'd put in that. So that's what I call a safety trade. Okay. And that is to capture profit if it breaks and runs. If I don't want it to do it without me. If I want to make sure I'm capturing part of the move. Okay. So that's a safety trade. I've mentioned that before. I don't cover them a lot because what has to happen for that trade to trigger? Well, we have to get a break of a high. It has to extend past the high. Extensions are typically a bad place to enter. Pullbacks are way better, right? So if an extension is not the greatest place to enter, because after an extension we would push up. After an extension we would expect it to pull back. So that being said, that is a riskier entry. Not necessarily riskier on the trade, but just riskier that it won't pan out. It may not pan out because it could just barely break that and pull back. So less contracts on there. So if you're doing 10, go like 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. I'd still want to do at least 2. So we're getting that bounce on Bitcoin. And see now why I said safety trade, not getting in. It's pulling back deeper. Right now it's at level 3. If you look over here at level 3 and cross level 3, it's at that high right here. So I'm trying to decide, where I want to get in on this. I still would like to buy. I just don't know. Of course, we don't know if it's going to pull back. We could draw a retracement line across it. And sorry, I'm watching Bitcoin too. So draw a retracement line across those tails. And if it breaks that right there, I definitely get in. I want that. So I'm looking to see what it does on oil. If it retraces deeper. And what we're looking for is we're looking for an entry. So we have our safety trade up there in case it would have broken, ran up here. So I can actually pull the safety trade off, right? We don't need that on. Yeah, we're out of everything but Bitcoin right now. Oh, we should have that open. So the safety trade again was on in case it broke up here. That's to capture again part of the move because I don't want to miss it. So we can pull the safety trade now off because it's no longer valid. We're no longer waiting on oil to break that high level. Okay. So we're waiting on a pullback for entry. Not an ES, but it's dropping. All right, so Bitcoin is going to take us out here in a second. It did. There it goes. So we had that deeper pullback. There it goes. It's going to say it actually closed out my order and then it showed on the chart a little delayed. I don't know why. So overall, we had a deep, huge pullback. And you look back, and yes, I gave a lot back on this. However, again, I gave a lot back on the runner as to what it was up in profit. So again, you have to decide on how you're going to trail the stop. I chose to stay below this low. Okay, so my stop was down here below low. So I gave back from up here down to there. But you never know where the top's going to be, right? So you never know exactly how far it's going to pull back or when it's going to pull back. So even though it reached level 9, you can't look back and say, oh, well, it hit level 9, I would have closed there. Because would you not have said here at level 8, oh, it hit level 8, I would have closed. Would you have could you have possibly said when it creeped up here to level 6, could you have possibly said to yourself, well, wait a minute, it's lost some steam and hit level 6. I'm closing it all out there. Okay. So, or would you have possibly said here, oh, hey, it popped above this high. Bitcoin popped above this high and shot up to level 5. I'm closing it all out. I mean, these are things that we say to ourselves. So if we did, you could have been out here or here, any one of those. So it's looking back, what I always like to do is leave my runners go and try and capture as much as I can. If they trend for the day, well, then we get to ride it out. We get more. However, it just didn't keep going, so it pulled back. So yes, I gave back quite a bit on the runner, not on the main trade. Or remember, we had 2 on and closed out 1 as well. So I'll go in and look back at those. So getting a deep pullback, which might turn into a trend direction change. So we're going to wait and see what it does down here. If it gets all the way down that trend line. Well, my watch is dead. Still waiting on entry on oil. Gold, same thing. So gold was retracing up this line, the retracement line, and it kind of broke through a little here and tested the back side and a red candle. I'm going to go ahead and take that. I'm going to go in with less. Let's go in with 4. So again, I haven't gotten a signal yet. It could still pull deeper, but I haven't gotten a signal yet on it. I'm going to set up to close out 3 on it. And we'll put our stop in. So again, the reason why I took it was, it's been in a downtrend, right? So gold's been in a downtrend. We traded it short earlier, got our profit, got stopped out on the runner. I chose to pull my stop. Remember, I moved my stop down. If I would not have moved my stop down on gold, I would have still been in on runners. So I would have just been adding to my position. So we drew a retracement line up. When the retracement line was broken, what do instruments typically do after they break a line? And it doesn't matter if it's a trend line or like this right here. If you had a support resistance line, they break it, they pull back to test it. Okay, so when it kind of creeped through a little bit and barely broke it and kind of pulled back to test it, that's my test, and I'm in. So smaller trade. I went in with 4 now instead of 10. The reason why, it doesn't mean it's a weaker entry. I've already locked in profits for the day, so there's no use in me giving those back. We're looking at our bounce on oil and possibly on Bitcoin. I don't know, Bitcoin really dropped, but if you look at where it is, it's all the way back where it was when I got in back here. So I don't know if it's going to go deeper than that. It would have to break our trade line up here before that happens. So we'll look to see. Look at oil. So right now it's trying to break that trade line. Okay. So this is why we didn't get in over here on the pullback. So it's real important to watch the highs and lows and draw your trend lines, your retracement lines. Oh, that's on the euro. Got to buy on the euro. So it's real important to watch those because, again, I put that safety order up here in case it broke broke this high and kept running, and the safety trade wasn't triggered. That's my however you want to call it, backup trade, safety trade. I call it a safety trade because it puts me in on the move so I can at least capture something. It's never as big as a full what I'd fully do for the day. So if I'm doing 10 for the day, which I've been doing, then it's going to be less contracts. It's just there so I can capture part of that move if it breaks and runs. I don't want it to break and run without me. I'd rather be in it, even if it's a small amount. That's what that's for. Again, I want to capture part of the move. Like in here, when Bitcoin dropped here and broke this up trade line, or I don't know why it's labeled retracement line, guys. That should not be labeled retracement line. But when it came and broke that, we could have put a safety trade below that just in case it breaks and runs, which it's doing. So I'm not looking to mess with Bitcoin right now on this. I'm missing it. S&P going with it. I need to see what's going on over here. Yeah, we're getting a pullback on gold. So hopefully we won't get stopped out. So there's our bounce and break on oil. We're going to go in real light on oil. We got a couple light trades on here. I'm gonna go in and poke around here. I don't even think Candace. I know you asked earlier in the Discord, and I don't think I ever got back to that. So I rarely will use take profit levels. I rarely. If I do, it's to close partial. Overnight, I don't like doing that because, let's see, here's the thing. And I could draw it out sometime, but, okay, let's say let's just say on oil. So I have the trade on oil. So let's just say on oil, I have the 3 here, and I put a take profit up here. We're way up there somewhere, okay, for it to go there. And I go for 2. I want to close out partial because I wouldn't want to close the whole thing. I don't like letting my winners or closing off my winners. I like letting them run. So let's say I've moved my stop to here, better than break even. So I have a stop of 3, an order of 3, but I put a take profit level up here of 2. If it gets back up here, it's going to close 2 out and leave 1 on. So let's say that it goes up here and closes out 2. I will have one runner on, but my stop down here is still at 3. And if it comes back and stops me out, it's going to close out my 1 running and enter me in 2 contracts short. And then if the rest of the night runs down and runs and runs and runs, that's how you'll see people say, I don't know what happened. I woke up this morning and my account was blown. When they're trading prop accounts, a lot of times that's what it is. that because there's no way to close out. Now, if you trade through TradingView, that's what would happen. If you trade through Trade of 8, you know, if you're like through Apex or Top Step and you're going through Trade of 8, you can put in, they have really, really good order sets in there that you can put on that if it moves such and such far, you could tell it what to do. So if it moves so many ticks, it's going to, you know, close out, you know, 2, move your stop, and you can do all that with that. You cannot do it through TradingView, which I don't know why. They haven't implemented it. So we finally got a 1 hour sell on Bitcoin. We're going to take 4 off the 1 hour sell because it's still streaming. Ooh, and I didn't wait. Sorry. That might have been premature, guys, because I did not wait for the candle to close. I just saw the signal pop up. I'll leave it on, but it was a little premature. We don't want that to be our loser, but it might. As far as a stop, I will not come way back here and put my stop down here. I would look more to this level right here. As far as stop placement. Yeah, I need to close. Well, we're going to get stopped down on oil. More likely. It wasn't ready to go. So it did break. You know, oil did come up here and break through that retracement line. That's what I bought off of. It just wasn't ready to go yet. So it's pulled back down. It's testing this low right here. My stop's kind of right there. Stop's kind of right in a dangerous position, actually, because it's up above that. Yeah, so I just got taken out. So I need to watch it to see if it dips below this inside area here, because that was my fault where I put my stop. But so far it's messing with that retracement line, so we did take a loser on that. So I need to look for a better entry if I'm even going to think about gold. I went ahead and took the Bitcoin, again, a little premature on the signal, the 1 hour. We still got 43 seconds. I think that's from the stream buffering a little. So, but I wanted to take a couple here based off just signals. So you can watch those play out just off of them. Yeah, there's videos out there. I'll have to find it. One guy did a really good video that I watched before on the Trade of 8 order sets on there. So Bitcoin, I'm going to take that off. Gold, I'm going to leave my trade marker on because that's still valid. And then oil, I'm going to leave it on right now because we're going to see what happens here. It looks like it's, you know, it's trying to break this inside area. So looking to see if it bounces. But right now, as far as it looks, we might get a sell signal on oil. Now I don't want to sell. I already sold gold at an extension, or Bitcoin, right? So I already took Bitcoin after a drop, after the 1 hour reverse signal. We're looking like we're getting a sell. So I already took that on an extension, which is a riskier trade. So I wouldn't want to take S&P or oil off of extended moves. So we just got to sell 1 hour sell on oil as well. So here's what we're going to do. So oil, we're taking off our trade marker. That's no longer valid. We're going to take off some lines up here just so we don't have so much clutter on the chart. This retracement line, because obviously we broke our trend line up, right? This retracement line, for one, let me do this. This is going to become a trade line down because we're looking to possibly short. This is against the 4 hour. It also needs moved. I'd have to move it out here, okay? We could do a more aggressive one from there to there, but I'm not going to do that. I'd wait for a pullback. Let me take that off because that's the entry I would have taken. And see how that entry I would have taken here off the bounce? All it did was go to that high. That's it. That's why you have to be aware of where your highs and lows are and be ready to close partial at a higher low. Because if I would have taken that, remember I said if it pulls back, I'm looking for it to bounce off the trade line, the uptrend line here. And we got the green candle bounce off that. So that's why I had the arrow there. I would have taken that long. This is why you have to close partial at previous highs and lows. Because as this went up, if I would have got in that with say 10, okay, because that's a good valid bounce entry. If I would have taken that with 10 and not closed out 8, can you imagine that? And then it pulled back, bounced again, and I'd say, okay, I'll stay in, only to have it go back and possibly stop me out. So that's why. Put on 10, close out 8. If you would have done that, you're profiting. If you're not, it didn't break the high. So you have to be careful what you wish for. You wish for it to go, you want for it to go to the moon, 3 times this distance. But what you get, and they'll smack you around. So you have to be ready to close partial. That turns that, getting in a trade, wanting it to break that high and go up to all-time highs, breaking levels, breaking this and keep going. I want 3 times that move. That's all I want to take. Getting stubborn, stuck in your head, and not closing partial, not going, well, wait a minute. It came up and made a level here. It came up and pushed down, making a high. It popped up, trying to break that high. Did not. It even fell deeper than it did on this move. So we take it just knowing that it may not break that high, and it didn't. It tried. It pushed up a little bit. So that's why we closed partial. So I'm waiting on. So we've gotten pullbacks. Remember I said on Bitcoin was the only one I was going to take on an extension, or I already took this on an extension, the push down 1 hour signal. So I was going to wait on pullback. So right now on oil we have a pullback. I don't know if it's going to pull deep or not. I'd want to see a red candle before I get in. So anything I'm getting in now is a little riskier on profits of we've already locked in. So I'm marking that as the inside bottom over here because it may test that. We're up 84 on gold, and it's around that. It tested this right here, which I have as a high to break. So I wanted to really close out, and I wasn't watching. I'm going to get stopped out on Bitcoin. I'm going to almost guarantee that. So right now I'm down 164 on Bitcoin, which is going to pull off of our gains we locked in. But that's the risk I took from getting in off the 1 hour reverse signal and just jumping in on it. So I kind of want to show some of that as again, when the signals come up, when you get the 1 hour. Yeah, thanks, Candace. Have a good day today. And that's kind of why I want to do some of that, because as you look at just taking just a signal, the 1 hour reverse is what? It's a little riskier because the 4 hours not in line. But 2, on an extended move, which was the big push down, we expect it to pull back. So the better entry would be for waiting for it to pull back and then see a red candle. Going to end up with a ton of lines. Right now, so far, that is on oil. Its move is a retracement because it's been down. Now, I'm saying that we're trading off the 1 hour at this point. We're ignoring the 4. So I don't know if that's going to stay. What will happen is it may actually push up and follow this line up. So I'm not looking to take an entry on it till we get a signal, because right now this is I'm calling it a retracement line, because once we had the 1 hour reverse, then we changed this here over to a trade line down. So we'll have to see what it does in here, because right now the 1 hour and 4 hour are both green. So if the 15-minute goes green, they'll be back in sync. So it's kind of in a rough decision time in here. So I haven't drawn any down lines on or trade lines on Bitcoin, because we really don't have a high set yet. Right here, we have a little pullback. So you can draw one on here, but I don't know if that's going to be our valid trade line yet. I mean, it is so far that it's pushing down, but we'll see how it plays out here. Because we've done good. It's 10 o'clock. Don't really want to give anything back. What are we getting? That was something on the Aussie. So there's our red candle. Again, if you were to even short that, you're going against the 1 hour, and since the 1 hour turned back green. So I'd be looking to go long at this point, not short. Should have moved this out to here when it broke. When it broke here, the trend line was here, you know, off these lows back here. So it kind of poked through there. I didn't move it. You can choose to leave it there or move it there. Yeah, we're not going to mess with that right now. So this line can come on. This would stay and move it out there. So we don't really have the 15 minutes out of sync right now on oil. I really thought Bitcoin was going to come down and break that low, but had other plans. So that would be our low to break on Bitcoin. Trying to look back on the All right, so we got another sell on gold, so we're going to hold it. Going to move the Bitcoin line down out to here to that wick right there so far. Hopefully we get a push on that. There we go. So we had going back, guys, to look at the trades here. All right. Just need some movement here. So far, we've taken the most on, of course, gold. Okay. So far, it looks like Bitcoin was almost a wash. Yep, let's see. Yeah, we'll total them up here. I'm looking back at, because I wasn't keeping track as we were closing out. I'm going back and totaling things up here. So, Bitcoin just does not want to break that low. As always, guys, also let me know if the string buffers or anything. I only had one instance yesterday. Yeah, so see where oil, we had the sell, the 1 hour went back to green. So again, when you get the 1 hour sells, you have to know, or the 1 hour reversal, you have to know that that is against the 4 hour when it comes. So a little extra risk there. But right now we're not even messing with it. I don't think I'll mess with the oil the rest of the morning. Only got about 45 minutes really for me for valid entries. I like to quit at 1 with entries unless I see something set up by noon. And you don't want a revenge trade. So I haven't totaled these up yet, but ES, I took one trade and I've lost. on that trade, 275. So I don't want to go back in and go, I got to get back at ES and I got to look to trade, I'm going to trade it short right now because it's pulled back, everything's red. I want to get in short now and just take a short. You don't want a revenge trade, trying to get back at it because I've got no signs that tell me to short it now. I mean, it's pulled back, but it might pull back deeper. So you don't want to get into revenge trading where you're making bad decisions. So I know full well that I need to see something. So I want to see that pull back on ES. I want to see a bounce of some sort. I want to see it I want to see it pull back. If it pulls back deeper, I'd like to see it pull back wherever. It could be right here. This could be it. But I want to see it pull back, and I want to see it stop at some kind of resistance level. I need a sign. And right now, that's not it. It's not enough to say, well, everything's red, I'm just going to jump in because it's had a pullback. I want to see something. I need something else. So I need to see it bounce at a high, low. Right now, as I look back, price is here, and we do have a low here that it's already broken. So it may go further up. So we have a low here. We have a low right there. So I'm going to go with that line right here and possibly look in this area. Maybe I should lower that. Yeah, see how we had a good swing here. So that was from earlier. I want to mark this right here. I'm going to mark the candle swing. I'm going to mark the swing point, right? This swing right here. I want to be aware of that. And this is no longer in, a valid line, so we'll take it off. I can take this one off here. But ultimately, right now, I want that. I want to mark that swing. We had a decent swing down, bunch of sells. It turned, and then we had upward move. So let's mark that turning point or the inside of that. It's really up to you. And then we're gonna look over and look at the chart, and we know we're below it, but I want to see, does it go up to that? I would like to see if it goes up to that. I want to see it turn. So we're looking for a spot where it may turn. Now it could plow through that. I don't know. But these are my reasons. I have a reason for drawing that line there. Now it's just a matter of watching and seeing if it goes up and does it break that level or turn. Okay. So that's the retracement line up right now. And we'll see what happens. So two things. If it bounces there and if it breaks the retracement line, you either put the trade on right then and there or you wait for it to pull back. So like if it breaks the retracement line, you wait for it to pull back up to test this level in here. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what will happen on it, right? So it could go like this and just break. And I just lost my pen. So it could go like that and break. We could get, however it gets there, it could break that and then come down and test this and then go. So I'm not waiting on either of those. I don't like either of those because everything on the bottom's red. So if that happens, obviously I'm not going to take it short at any point. If it comes through and breaks this retracement line, comes back up to test that level, that's what I'm looking for to go short. So if it breaks it, comes back up, and then gives me a red candle, that's my 50% reason to take the trade because we're in a sell situation. The indicators on the bottom are all red. So basically our trend is what? Down. So the trend is down right now. I have 50% reason to take the trade short because the higher time frames, 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, are all short. So that gives me 50% reason. 10% reason because it's retraced. We want to get in on a retracement. We don't want to get in on extension. So as it's retracing, we have another 10% reason to look for a short. It breaks the retracement line. That gives me another 10% reason to look for a short. So we're at like, what, 70? It pulls back to test the backside of this retracement line, that resistance level as well. 10% reason, take it short. And we wait for a red candle. 10% reason, take the short. Well, now we're at a 90% trade. So that right there would be our 90% entry if it does that. So that should be your thought process on every one of these trades. That's what I'm looking to happen. That's what I'm looking for. If it breaks the retracement line and a candle closes below, that's where you could always put that safety trade or backup trade on below it, a limit order or a stop order, sorry, sell stop. I don't do that a lot. I'll do it once in a while, but it's not something that I do every day, every trade. We're just not moving on anything right now. So gold, we're still up a little bit, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Now it could break that retracement line, go all the way back down here to test this, and then pull back up. But ultimately, that's what now would be a good time to look for shorts. That's what I'm looking for, is looking for shorts on it. And then it's just a waiting game. The whole trading as a whole is a waiting game. Waiting for an entry, waiting to take partials, waiting to close it all, waiting to get stopped out as it pulls back. Let me check my platinum. I was, as of this morning, MC. Yeah, I'm still in. It was up to like 4,400, and now it's at 3,750. So I'm still, that one for me is still long term. And I've of course I've adjusted the trade indicator on platinum for the higher time frames. It's still, the daily chart's still red. I think you caught that, right? That I did that. So we're day trading in here, pulling partials, and I entered in platinum Friday, short with 5, and closed out 3 when it dropped. And then I still have 2 runners on. Yeah, I haven't. That's the first time I've looked at platinum. The only thing I'm doing on platinum now, and I'm trying to keep my eyes closed to it. So I looked last night, and like I said, at one point I was up 4,400, and then I didn't even look at it this morning. So it's hard to do. Yeah. It's powerful if you can leave a trade on like that. So, and that's what, I put on 5. I closed out. I know I looked yesterday, but I got to look again. I just can't remember if it was 8. I want to say it was 1,800. 1,400 or 1,800. For some reason, those two numbers are stuck in my head. But I think platinum is, I closed out 3 at 1,800. So, 600 per contract. And then, I closed out to 3 on Friday. So that was a day trade. That's what we're here doing, day trading. And I put on 5, closed out 3. So that was my day trade, my daily bread, the money I need to live on, pay bills on, eat off of. I got 1,800 on the 3 I closed out. So that was a really good day, because really, realistically, I'm only looking for 500 a day. So that was 1,800. So that was a little over 3 days worth of trading. So really nice trade. That's where you can sit there and say, okay, on Monday, I'm not going to trade. There's no news. I don't expect volume to come in to my trade day. So I don't expect any volatility, volume, and the momentum we get off volume stepping in to move the market, because we need that volume. When volume's there, the volume of traders and trades going on is there, we get momentum off of move. We get things start to move, and then we get momentum off those moves, and then we profit off of it. You have to have movement to get profit. I don't like sitting in trades long term. My day trades, I'd love to get in them, and within half an hour to an hour to be able to pull off partials for a day trade, for a day trader. If you're scalping, you're getting in and you're wanting to pull profit in like 5 minutes to half an hour max typically. Typically scalpers are in, they get in a trade and they're in like, they might be closing out in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If they learn to leave runners go, then they close out partial in that 3 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute range. And then they move their stop to break even and let runners go. And that's what I used to do. I used to just purely scalp. And then when I learned to leave the runners move, it was a whole different, it was a game changer, because then I got to where I could dial out to a bigger time frame. So that's what I've done in Platinum is Friday morning, put on 5, closed out 3. So I locked in 600 per contract, 1,800. And then still have 2 runners on. And then once we got into Sunday and Monday, you get into the next day or 2 days later, that's when I like to go out to a higher chart. So now I'm on the 15-minute watching Platinum. I won't look any lower than that. I'm staying on the 15-minute right now on Platinum, but I've adjusted the indicator. So I've gone in, if I can pull it up here, to the indicator, and I've adjusted these right here. So this time frame right now is on 60, okay, for a 1 hour. So my top bar is a 1 hour. This one here is a 240, which is the 4 hour, 240 minutes. So the middle bar is a 4 hour. And then this one down here, put 1440, and that's a day. So 1440 down here on the bottom. So your bottom then is the daily, and then the middle one's the 4 hour, and the top one's the 1 hour. So that's what I have Platinum on now. And that, I don't know why I have a 10:30 alarm. I need to look and see what that said. So right now on Platinum, that bottom daily bar, and I think I posted a picture on it out there in, I know I did. It's out in Bitcoin. There's somewhere out there I've got the daily, or the chart, sorry, on Platinum. I'm trying to look back and see where it is. I'm looking for a big chart that's going down. I just don't know which thread I posted it in out there. There it is. I don't know if this will work in here. There's a link I just popped in here. So that'll take you right to where I posted the chart. But if you look at that chart, the bottom bar is the daily. So the daily right now, if you look, is all red all the way back before my entry, before I actually got in. So that's what I'm holding with right now is the daily. Because if you look at that chart, the link I just posted, but if you look back at that chart, you'll see that the daily, the bottom bar is all red. The middle bar is our 4 hour, and you'll see some green in there. And I just held through the 1 hour going green, which is the pullbacks. And of course, when I adjusted those, it adjusted the indicator to where you'll see nothing but cells on there, because those cells are off of the top bar, the 60-minute, keeps saying sell. So right now I'm holding on that bottom bar being the bottom daily bar being red. If that turns to green, because obviously I'm not going to close. I haven't closed when the 1 hours turn green ever yet. I'm still in. So that being said, if the middle bar turns green again, I'm going to ignore that, 1 hour, or that, and it won't be 1 hour reversal. It'll actually be a 4 hour. So if the middle bar on my platinum chart turns green, that's actually a 4 hour reversal. Now the indicator will still say 1 hour up there. I wasn't going to go in and change those just for the chart view, because we don't always get to write them. So yeah, we'll write it out. But I love doing that. That is one of the I don't know. That's one of the most awesome feelings, is when you could take that scalp. When I started, it was scalp trades. I'd get in, I'd be in like 5 to 10 minutes, and I would close the whole thing. And I was looking for that 100 to 200 a day when I started trading. And at first it was like I wanted 200 per day, because I actually needed to make $5,000 a day, or a month, to survive. And so that was short. 200 a day is only 4,000 a month, but that's what I needed. Was 5. And it was rough when I got started, because I paid out a lot of money to learn. And then my first time I pulled profit out, it was only a little, I think it was 3,200. That's all I made that month. And I needed $5,000 because, with my back, I couldn't do any construction anymore. I couldn't even move. I was pretty much couch bound. So, but that's when, Mrs. Duck was like, "Are you sure this is going to work? You didn't make $5,000. I'm like, "Look, I'm just getting started." It's like, this is my first payout. I tried, but I can't, it's like I was trying to be safe in trading and not take my need of 5,000 and get in riskier trades. And that's what I had to tell her. I'm like, "Look, I just got trained how to do this. It's going to take me a minute." And I figured a few months, which it did. And I just told her, I'm like, "You just got to bear with me while I'm switching over and doing this." I was like, the 3,200 that I just got is better than 0 or 1,000 or 2,000. I'm like, so I made something. I said, yes, my target's $5,000, but I said, I may not get there, every month. I'm like, we're just going to have to, go through the process. But I told her, I said, I don't want to get into taking riskier trades just so I can, can you imagine if I had the 3,200 sitting there in the last week, I'm just trying to push trades through just so I get to $5,000. You guys know what would happen. Everyone in here knows what would happen. I'd start taking losing trades and losing back. And then it would be like, okay, I only can draw 1,000 now. So got to take the safer trades. Be safe in your decisions. So, but yeah, if you can take so then it was like taking that scalp trade, being in for 5 to 10 minutes. And then when I learned I could leave some on, let's just close partial, move stop to break even. Because if it keeps going, and that's what I started seeing. I started noticing and watching that I would get in a trade scalp and be in it for 10 minutes and close the whole stinking trade out in 10 minutes, only to see it keep moving in my direction. And I'm not in it. And I was told not to jump on a moving train. So I was missing all that. And I'm like, how can I capture this? And that's when I talked back to the guy. He goes, well, close out part of your trade. you know, because I was trading with multiple contracts or lots at that time, because I wasn't when I started. There, we got a sell coming on ES. I will not put 10 on it. It would be 4. So we got our pullback. This is a 90% entry on ES. I'm waiting on a candle to close, but we have 4 in the hole up here, and we'll need to hit the sell button. So I will sell here on ES. That's what we were waiting on. We were waiting on it to break the retracement line, pull back to test the backside, basically, of the retracement line, and this line here, which was the inside bottom, you know, from over here. And notice it turned a little shy. So it actually turned at the wick bottom right there. Okay, there's a wick right there. So it turned at that wick bottom instead of the inside bottom. So we have to wait. Now, guys, it could pull back after this still. We just had a push, right? Came down, pulled back up, tapped that, and right now we're waiting on candle to close. It is a red candle entry, so we did get a pullback after it broke the retracement line pullback test. The only thing is, it's right here, the inside top, so we're taking a little risk because we do have a support level in here, you know, where this candle pulled back up to. So that would be my caution. And then also, we don't have a profit target. Our first profit target should be here because it may only go that far. So we'll take it short. But less contracts because of that. Less contracts because of time of day. It's 10:38. Less contracts because we had it pull back and, you know, stop right here at this price level. And then look, it made another run down. So it came down and turned there. So there, we'll go ahead. I'm not going to wait for it to pull back, but I full well know that it could pull back up here again. So it could still pull back up to that inside bottom. So we'll short that. Yeah, see, my trade on platinum's like 39.40 now. It was 37 something. So you just got to ride it out. It's been fluctuating, you know, like 1,000 here and there. All right. So we're in short. We'll see what happens. There's our stop. We're putting our stop close. I'm using the current high. Actually, I want it up a little higher than that. I want it up above our line, the inside bottom line. So we'll put it up there. I'm going to, you know, put in, we could put in a limit order to close out a few. And that would be a buy limit order. It is late in the day, or late in the morning, so I don't want to not capture profit. So we'll go there with our closeout 3. I know it's offset. If you look at where our stop is, where I kept my stop out of the way, we're risking a little more than what we're gaining on the 3. It's not even a 1-to-1. But the reason why I'm putting my limit order there is because of this low. It may not go back. It may not go past that. That's my reason. Now I could always move my stop order tighter. I could have moved it, you know, and kept it down where it was. I think it was right above the highs, like right in there. You know, and that's about your. It's still not quite 1-to-1. Because I just don't want to give back what we've locked in today. I still got to add that up. But yeah, with the because we're already giving back some on Bitcoin if it doesn't keep going. We got another sell, but I don't know. We'll see what happens here. So far, that old inside bottom we marked from the left of the chart is just, you see multiple times it's hit that level. But yeah, so I figured out then, it's like, okay, I'll close partial. I think I was putting on 4 lots at the time. And then I was like, okay, when it goes up, so I'd get a move up then, I would close out part of that trade, move my stop immediately to break even. That's how I ventured into closing partial. Was putting on my lots, trading, always trade with stop loss. It would go into profit. I'd close out part of that trade, and I would move my stop immediately to break even. Well, then a lot of times I was getting stopped out as when it pulled back, only to see it again keep moving in my direction. So I had to make that decision to when I got to 10 lots, it was 10 lots on. Lots is the same as contracts. They call them lots in Forex. So it was 10 lots on, and when it went, what I was looking for was 200 per day, okay, and let my runners go for that bonus. So 10 lots on, and it would go over 200, I would close out 8. I wanted to close out 8, so I locked in the 200. And because if it hit 200 and I closed out 8, I was actually locking in 160. So I needed it to go over 2. So basically, when I could close out 8 and profit 200, that's what I did. I'd close out 8, leave 2 on, and then again, I was moving my stop to break even. Then I started experimenting with not moving my stop to break even, leaving it out, which of course then risked part of the gains I locked in. And that's where you have to make that decision. Do you leave your stop? Do you move it to the halfway point? Or do you just move it to break even? But doing that, scalping, I saw scalp trades turn into day trades. That was where it began, was those little scalping trades would turn into trades that I would hold, because a scalp trade, again, you're in for like 3 minutes to 10 minutes, typically max. On a scalp. Typically, you're 3 minutes. Boom, you're in and out. So that's a scalp trade. Well, then I saw where I was holding, and I would stay in, and I was holding for like up to an hour. Well, if you get in a trade and hold up to an hour, you're a day trader. So then I'm like, oh, this is cool. I got scalp trades turning into day trades. Then once I did that and learned to leave my stop out and give it room to pull back, well, then I got to experience some of the trades going to where they were on for 2 days or 3 days. And then it got to where eventually it gets to where you're holding them for months. They just have to keep trending in that direction. If they don't, that all falls apart. I mean, So it looks like we're still moving down. It's slowly pushing. S&P is. So hopefully it'll take profit on it. It's going to be a small loss on it. But ES, I'm down 275 on ES anyway. And look, I didn't take ES to get back at it because I lost 275 earlier. Remember I talked about that was over here. That was as it pulled back, you're going, I'm going to get back at you. I'm going to take the trade. So didn't do that. We were waiting for a valid break of that retracement line, test of the backside of it. We want to see a red candle. And then ultimately, the indicator actually went and said sell as well. So hopefully we'll get a quick push down. I'm done with oil for the rest of the day. We're up on oil, but not a ton. I'll add these all up here. And guys, I love that. When you can take a trade, and my intention when taking Platinum Friday was not to hold it all week. My intention was to place the trade, make my day, close partial so I can live. And that was my intention when putting on 5 on Friday on Platinum. was to just make some money, make my day trading money. And however, Platinum had other plans. It decided to leave me in it and keep going short. All right, we're about to hit our profit on, we're up like 135, and it's about, hopefully it'll hit our buy limit here. Close out 3. It's inching. Watch it not take me out. The 3. Come on. There you go. All right, so we had 3 close out on our ES trade. So we'll change our stop order to match. And then that was 120. So I was down 275 on ES. So we got some of it back. Oh yeah, my pen's on the floor. I forgot all about that. So we got some back. We got 120. So we just limited or minimized some of our loss there. So we're still down 155 on ES. So I like that a lot better, right? Instead of being down 275, we're down 155 on ES. I don't want to move my stop to break even because I like where my stop is. So unfortunately, if ES pulls back past my entry and hits my stop, I will lose some back. All right. So right now we're up about 37, and it's, as you can see where my stop is, we're not at quite 1-to-1. So it'll probably be a loss of $50. So let's say it's a loss of $50 where my stop is on the 1. Well, then I'd lose 50. I'd be down 205 on ES if it pulls back and stops me out. So I'd be down 275. I was, or what did I say, 205. I was down 275. So far this trade's helped me pull back a little bit of that loss if it stops me out. So if it stops me out, instead of 275, we'll be at 205. So it helped me gain back 70 where the trade sits now. Now, if it pushes past this low, and, you know, we see a wick down here, so we need to see some body of a candle close past that low. If it does that, I'll move my stop down, you know, about halfway. And then ultimately, if I can move my stop to break even, would be great. Still in the negative on Bitcoin. Again, I took that over here on the 1 hour. So I forget what I was talking about on the. Oh, as far as just holding, that's what you want to do. If you can have trades. Oh yeah, Friday. So Friday on Platinum. Again, that what, you know, my plan was not to get in. I didn't wake up Friday morning and say, you know what, I'm going to get in a trade. I'm not only going to hold it over the weekend, but I want to hold it all next week. That was not my plan on Platinum. My plan was, I didn't even know if I'd trade Platinum, you know, when I got up, because Platinum's normally the last thing I look at. It had a good move down and already had a sell signal. Everything was lined up on the indicator. I waited on a pullback and then red candle and took it short. So it was a good valid entry, and I think it was an hour. I was able to close out the 3. That was, you know, that's what we do on everything. And then it just had plans to go deeper on Friday. So by keeping my stop out of the way, though, it's allowed me to stay in all week. So here it is Thursday. Tomorrow will be a week. Tomorrow morning will be a week. Right, it is Thursday, yeah. The other day I was off a day. If I don't trade a day, if I take a day off from trading because there's no news, it kind of messes my week up. But yeah, so you wake up in the morning, your plan is to just trade, make some money. And then if you can hold these and get some to go, if they go, they have to go. But right now, if you look at platinum, it went, but now it's just a lot of bouncing back and forth. And I just had to sit through all that. So I watch it, it's up and down, and where's it now? 3,700. You know, it was at 4,400 yesterday, now 37. So just got to be willing to ride it out. I don't freak out because of the pullbacks, or I would have closed already. So we're getting that ES just wanting to break it, but I'm really marking the candle bodies on this one because we just had that one long wick down and it pulled back, and so that price right there on ES, that where my line is, that 61.1075, I marked that again because the candles, you know, as we swung down, it pushed down but stopped there, and then we had it pull back some. Well, then when it pushed down again, it stopped there again. Then this candle never went. It went below that but closed above. This green candle here, bullish candle, it shot up. It never even tried to go through that, never wicked down below it. So that's why I marked that price level. So we want to see candle bodies close below that. That's a little doji right now on ES, so I don't really count that as a candle closing below the line. I want to see a strong bearish candle close. That's kind of a weak one, right? It wicked down, pushed down for a minute, and that's why we wait for candles to close. Because, you know, can you imagine something pushing like this and you take an entry while it's still forming? You know, it may be down now, like the one we got right now is down now. So you always want to wait for candles to close. And I know I did that earlier on Bitcoin, and that's why I'm in the shape I'm in now down here on Bitcoin, is because I took the 1 hour signal. So yeah, we're just waiting. We'll see what happens here. Again, this candle needs to close below. We still got a minute 20 on this one. 997 to 998. Yeah, I'm gonna cut off here in about 5 minutes, guys. And I'll tally these up and mark them on the charts like I did the other day. Yeah, fun stuff, isn't it? I'm going to peek out at mine to see. I was just looking at your... Yeah, oh, yeah, MC. You're welcome. Fun as always, let me tell you. So we'll go here for About another 5 minutes. I might go a little longer. You know me, I'm going to be sitting here anyways trading, so. Or not really trade, but modifying. Adjusting the trades. So really waiting, and guys, this is okay too. Bitcoin is back down to where we're at a small loss. You know, $4 loss, $2 gain. You know, it's kind of fluctuating. So I could close that one out for the day and say, well, I want to close Bitcoin. I'm taking a chance on missing out if it keeps going, but I could full well, yeah, Forex is fun. I was glad to start there. This is a little, the futures is different. Gold's different, and not really necessarily futures, even if you're trading like spot gold or spot, you know, silver, gold, platinum, any of the metals. It's different. You know, same here. And futures and spot, it doesn't matter. But these move different than Forex. They don't respect levels, I want to say. They don't, like Forex has a lot of key levels that are really respected. And we're getting a little deeper pullback on gold. Oh, that reminds me. And when I place the Forex trades, I don't stare at them like this anymore. See, I don't know why that buffered, if that's the chart or what. All right, that worked. All right, so I'm sitting in it, but you know, you could sit there and let's see, oil. Yeah, I forgot about that. We got the oil earnings coming out, oil inventory earnings coming out in an hour. I forgot all about that. It's orange news, so medium strength on the news. All right. I was just checking our lag, so we still just have that 10. It does lag 10 seconds when it goes out to YouTube. All right, so we creeped over 15K on the day. Like I said, where was I? So yesterday's stream, I know we were at 11,000 something. I think I lost the paper. I got too many little scrap papers here. Yeah, I know we were. It was 11,000 something. I think it's 363. For some reason that stays. Yeah. 11,363 yesterday starting. We were at 97.60 at the end of the stream. So we had lost 1,603. So today, and I traded some last night because as of this morning I was up already. So from yesterday, 97.60 is where this profit and loss down here was. That 15K is the realized profit and loss on this account. So we were at went from 11,363 to 9,760 yesterday at end of stream, and then I did trade some last night on my own account. So what I did was I mirrored the trades on this one and got it back up to 12 something. 12,263. That was as of last night. 12,263, and then so almost 1,000 over what we were at start yesterday. So basically, I almost made it all back by start of morning. So this morning we've jumped up from 12,263 to what are we? 15,000. So not quite three, about 2,800 on the day. So way better day than yesterday. Good morning, John. Way better day than yesterday. So I like those numbers. But again, that's the difference in not having news and having news come out that can help push. Because again, when there's news that come out, we get volume. There's just a volume of traders stepping in. We're talking hedge funds, banks, countries, corporations. The big boys. So we get that heavy volume stepping in, which creates momentum, creates that movement. And if we don't have movement, we don't trend in any direction. And we need movement to profit. So again, we started yesterday at 11,363. And then yesterday was a losing day because of the way the market moves. And it was heavy on gold because I traded gold mostly. So we ended the stream at $9,760. So lost $1,603. And then as of last night, it was back up to 12,263. And now our realized profits at 15,043. So Not quite, again, about 2,800. I'd have to, I'm not going to pull the calculator out for that. So it's somewhere around 2,800 on the day. So again, we could close out everything, which I might do. I might just close out everything here in a little bit. And we'll lose back about 130. So again, S&P, we're still holding. I'd stay in that. I'd stay in S&P because, one, we put on 4 contracts at that last sell signal. And again, it broke the retracement line, which is here. After it broke it, it pulled back up to test the backside of it, had a red candle, which would be our signal candle. And then we actually got a bonus of a sell signal off the indicator. So we had 90% reason to take the trade there. That's why I marked the trade with that right there, or marked, took that and marked that. That's what we were waiting for, and it played out perfectly. It broke the retracement line, pulled back up to test the backside of the retracement line, gave a red signal candle. Traditional entry was that entry, that red signal candle. And then we just happened to get a sell signal as well right then and there. So we already had 90% reason to take the trade. And that sell signal gave us 100. So that's really 100% entry. And, I closed out. We had that buy limit order here to close out 3 because we didn't know if it would break this low. It did, but look where it's at now. So if on this we put on 4, closed out 3, and then if it pulls back, we lose 50 back. So we've locked in 120 on this trade. If it goes back and hits the stop, we'll lose back 50 of that. So it did push right here. So we've made a low in there. Let me see here. So since it's made that low, what we want to do is I'm going to move my stop to minimize half that, or to lower half that risk. So we'll move the stop down. And the reason being, because we made this new low. We're looking at the body, bodies of the candles, where they turned and where these stopped. So since we've made that lower low, swing low, we're going to move our stop down halfway. So we'll lose about $25 off about 20 or 25 off the 120 we locked in. So it's still a $100 trade, just this last one. Bitcoin's just been a back and forth. It's probably, I can imagine, since we've had a little stronger push here on these candles up, that this is probably going to stop us out. It's going to peak up there and stop us out. Because the 4 hour and everything's turning. So there we lost back on that. So I'll add that back in. Wait. That's why I said earlier at 11, I was thinking about just closing them all and being done. The only one I would have left on is ES. We're getting a 1 hour reverse on gold, so I am gonna close gold. So again, the reason being is the 1 hour, the 15 minutes already green, the 1 hour's gone green here. We just got that, so it should pull further up. So I'm not going to let it go more negative than that. So we'll close out at the 128. And I'll have to tally these up. Gold, we've had several runners and trades on. Let's see here. And I'll mark these up and put them in the Discord. like we had the other day. I'll put the profits and losses on them. Not looking to take it, but we actually had a buy on Bitcoin just now during that breakthrough. So you can either take that signal as a buy or wait for the pullback to get in. And again, if you don't want to miss out in case it breaks and runs, you can always come in and put a put a buy stop in. And then if it breaks and goes, it's not without you. Meanwhile, wait for a pullback to bounce off of these highs. So right now, that's our backup or safety trade. If it pops and runs really quickly, we can take advantage of that. Let the market take us in. However, it is taking us in at an extended move, right? It's already extended up, so it's a riskier trade. So that's why you go with less contracts or less contracts. If it pulls back and tests these highs right here, well, then that's a better entry. So that's where I'd look to buy. I'd look for it to come back and test the inside bottom, which is these highs. And then that would be my entry. So that would be getting us in at a better price. And in the meantime, we have that safety trade up there. That's in case it pops and runs, we don't miss out on the move. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that's I really got to figure out how we can get music back in here. It's driving me nuts. I'm going to pull some of the lines off of oil here. So that'd be our new trade line up on oil, since we've had a couple buy signals in here. It looks like it might break, guys, because we're looking at this, more of a pendant. So we have our trade line up on oil. We also have a horizontal line off these highs, and it's looking to break that right now, or it's already broke. So, but that's that pendant flag formation, whatever you want to call it. Looks like ES is making another run at that previous low over here. We'll see if it breaks and holds. I mean, it already broke it once. We need it to break again. On gold, if you were looking to take it, I'd be waiting on it to pull back and signal, but it is against our 4 hour. 4 hour still green on it, so it's been short on the day on the 4 hour. There's our little push on gold. It's trying, but we've got but we've got a previous high right here, so. Let's see. I'm adding these up so we can mark them here.
Across the globe, industries are transforming, and businesses need to navigate the changing landscape to stay ahead.
So gold, with the gold trades, we actually, oh, I gotta add that in. Minus.
You have the vision. We have the insights, financial solutions, and global perspectives to help you make it real.
All right. So I'm gonna mark.
Power possible.
Go ahead and pop these on. I'm gonna take the trade marker off so I don't have that. So we're positive on.
We just signed the lease on our third shop. My assistant went to customing.com.
2139.
All the locations. Found great products, uploaded new art, and had markets.
This microphone really gets in the way.
Makes it so easy. Get started today at customing.com.
In total, because we took that first loss on ES. So being that we took that first loss 275 and then we locked in 120 on the second trade, we're still down 155 on ES. So the first trade was negative 275. Then we locked in, because remember I put on less contracts. So I put on 10 and we lost 275. On this trade I only put on 4 because we had the pullback. We had every reason to take the trade. However, this low right here, this wasn't expecting it to go there. Now if it goes past that, which we did, is great, but I wasn't expecting it. I don't hold my breath and expect it to break a level, because a lot of times levels are respected. So that ends up minus 275, and then we locked in 120 already. So we're leaving the runners on right now, and then, or the runner, and then we'll adjust it. So oil was, let me copy this one over. And then oil we had 217. Yeah, so Bitcoin did pull back and is giving a push so far. And Bitcoin was a loss on the day. So that was the one, and this one, sorry. I need to put negative on this one. So far, this one's still negative. We'll have to see how the rest of the second trade works out. And then this one is, I didn't want to do that, guys. So this one's a 497 on our loss for the day. It didn't go anywhere. Took the trade down in here off the 1 hour signal. It just went and bounced back and forth. I did mention here earlier that when it pulled back, we were actually like plus 16, negative 20, negative 4. And I did mention when it dropped back here that we could have closed that trade out and not been in profit, but been in less of a negative when it dropped down. And of course, looking back, you say, yep, we should have done that. So, and we could have closed part of it out. We didn't have to close the whole thing out. We could have actually closed out part. So let me look and see. I can't remember how many contracts we had on that. So I had 4. So there was 4 contracts short when the 1 hour signal came, the 1 hour reverse. So 4 short. We sat in the negative for most of the time, and then it finally pulled back here. So again, this is something that you should think about, because again, you're minimizing your loss, right? So we were in the negative in most of this. We had several sell signals. It just never panned out. It just never kept moving. So when it came back down and we were hitting that where we're negative only like 100 or 50 or 40 or 10, you have to decide, do I want to close out partial? And it would be okay. We had 4 on. It would be okay to close out 3. I would still leave 1 on. I'd still leave a runner on in case it were, to break this low over here and then keep going, because you don't want to miss out on that. I wouldn't want this to fall and been down like 100 or 50 and close it out, close the whole thing out, only to see it push past that low. So if I was closing any of that, and that's why I'm mentioning this, if I was closing any of that 4 contract trade, it would only be 3. I would close out 3, leave the stop where it was. Our stop was up here. And then now I'd still have 1 runner on in case it breaks that and runs. It chose not to, so we ended up taking more of a loss. If I would have closed out 3 in here on this drop, like I mentioned earlier, closed out 3 and left my stop, but only had 1 on, instead of losing, 497 and being down 497 on it, we'd have been down like $100, $130, something like that. Which is a lot better than being down almost 500. So that's where we sit on the day. I haven't totaled it up all the way. Let's see. We'll add that. Right now, I'm just going to tally in the 155. So we're up 1704 on the day. That's a good position to be in, considering we're only looking for 500. Now, we made back up from yesterday. I already made that up earlier. These trades are just from this morning. Last night, I made back what we lost yesterday. And then some. Because remember, we ended the stream at like -9. I keep forgetting that number. I don't know. 9,760 and 22 cents. I normally don't count the change. So that's where we ended the stream yesterday. Was at 9,000. So right now we're at 14,706 and some change. Remember, anything past the $100 mark is tip money. That's for tipping or tipping. So oil has followed through a little bit. I did not get in it, but it broke that high. It finally pushed right here to that high, broke it, came back to test it as support. So that's where, an old resistance level, because as something moves up, if it turns on a price, that price is a resistance. And then when it respected it here and really pretty much respected it there, but finally pushed through.
and then it broke this finally, and now it's popped. So that would have, been a nice trade to been in, but we're not in it. We ended up positive on oil anyway, 217. So the positive on this, that pretty much, again, we're looking for 500 a day. So that, made up over a third of our day just there. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that safety order on Bitcoin. I had the safety order on, and we're waiting on, this signal here we had to buy, waiting on it to pull back to get an entry. We actually had a pullback and green candle here, so it may pop and go.
What we do and how we do it.
There's our gold buy. So we did get triggered on gold.
When it does, you can control it.
Oh, I didn't have a stop under there. So we got triggered on gold. It's up 170 something. So I'm going to close out 3. I don't want to lose back what we got. I was wanting it to hit 200 on gold to close out 3, but I'm going to close out 3 now. So that was another 111. And then I'm going to move our, we have to adjust our stop order to match. So we're going to modify that. And then we'll move our stop up some, because I don't want to leave it out in risk gains we've already locked in, especially what we've locked in this morning. So add 111 to that, 2139. So we're at 2250, guys. So a little bit more. So that's offsetting our Bitcoin a little bit. I'd really like to see Bitcoin pop and run, but that's why I didn't have my stop order yet, because I'm not looking to short. If I come in and put a order short on Bitcoin right now before it triggers my buy, if it were to drop, it'd put me in a sell. So that's why I didn't have one on gold yet. So now that we're triggered, I can come in and put one in. So I'm going past that low on the pullback. Obviously, we're not getting in at the best spot. We're getting in on the extension of the move. So this could pull back again. We should see it pull back to test this area here, so we might sit in the negative. And there goes oil. Kind of sad we're not in oil, but that's all right. It's bad enough I took another Bitcoin trade, so. So we're going to sit in the negative some. I can almost guarantee it on Bitcoin. Yeah, there we're getting a drop back to start to go test that our line level in here, basically this low. What we don't want is we don't want it to go all the way to test this low. We could draw a trend line or trade line up on it. And that would be our trade line up. I went ahead and left this other one, this older one up there. We're going to leave it. So another good little trade on gold. Gold stacked up for the day. It just, all the little trades I took earlier. Well, I can't say little. The biggest one was $890 on gold. So, and I think I'm losing my voice again. So like oil, there's no way I'd get in it now, and it could keep climbing, guys. But it's just it's risky to take it on something like that. We've had a good, huge move up. I could see this dropping all the way back down to here at least, to that trade line that's from this move up. Yeah, sorry I didn't trade the Aussie last night. Again, I was going to record it, but when the wife got home, we talked about going to the store, or she talked about going to the store when she got home, and I said, well, I have to be back, and I want to be back at my desk by 7. Well, she got home at 6:30 and said, well, were you ready to go? I said, I thought we were doing it tomorrow, which is tonight. Thought we decided we were going to go to the store tomorrow. She was ready to go, waiting out in the driveway. Said, okay. And I told her, I said, I got half an hour. Oh, no, it took an hour and 15 minutes. We ended up with 2 grocery carts full of stuff. And we did get eggs. We got our golden eggs. I need to close off my Aussie chart because I keep getting the buy signals on the Aussie, and we're not trading it in here today.
The former head of Spanish soccer, Luis Rubiales, said he will appeal in Spain the High Court's ruling finding him guilty. Without her consent during World Cup celebrations, he was fined €10,000 in the case, but acquitted of coercion.
Big waiting game.
Amazon MGM Studios will take control of the James Bond franchise. Long-serving producers Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson announced they're giving
So let's see, 50.
that will leave Amazon to decide which
We'll lose back about 200 if it drops to our stop on Bitcoin. After that, we're done with it. I'm jumping in late as it is. It's after 11. So 11 to noon is when, again, I typically will stop taking new entries. And that's typically because that's all I've done in the Forex market. So with the Forex market, of course, the London boys are heading home for the day. Starting to get ready to. They'll be heading home for the day, and everyone here in the States will be breaking for lunch. So we don't expect high volume. The volume's slowed down across the board. And again, it's because, London boys are out. As the London session's over for the day, or about over. Here in the U.S., everybody's breaking for lunch, so we don't expect volume at all during lunch. And then light volume in the afternoon. The only thing we got other than that is we got the stinking bots now. And they've got the trade bots, and even the hedge funds and big banks and stuff are starting, they're utilizing bots and to place big trades. So sometimes you'll have an unexpected pop or something, and it's just, there's no explanation why, and that's typically why. We're getting a decent pullback on oil. We will not get another buy signal until the upper dots on it down here turn red first. Which, if it pulls a little deeper, we might get that. So if it pulls back to this right here, this trend line, we might get that. So I'd be looking for a bounce in here, would be nice. And then only to maybe go to the inside top right here. So we got our inside top right there. That may be it. Because of the time of day and the volume that we have. I mean, if you look at the volume across the board on these, the only one that's got high volume right now is S&P. I haven't peeked at Nasdaq in a while, but the volume should be higher on Nasdaq. Where's it at? Can't hardly see it. 8.2. It's about the same on Nasdaq. Now, see, MC's got me wanting to peek out at my platinum trade. Yeah, still sitting there. 3,600 on it. And that's been on since Friday. So tomorrow morning at 9, I think I placed the trade at 9:06 last Friday on platinum. So tomorrow morning at 9:06 will be 1 week in that trade. So I didn't place it to become a swing trade. Placed it as a day trade on platinum short. Placed 5 contracts, closed 3, locked in 1,800 last Friday, and now the rest is up 36.60. So we'll see where it's at tomorrow at 9:06. So Bitcoin's popping a little bit, and again, that's that day trade turning into a position or a swing trade. So Bitcoin's popping a little, so I'm going to trail my stop, and I'm going to pull my stop up here along under this level here. Not closing out any of them yet. I'd look to close out 3, so I'd want to set that up and get it ready to hit the sell button. Like to get 100 out of it minimum. So this one was off of the safety trade being triggered, and we were in the negative a little bit. So ES, let's, what do we want to do on ES here? We're going to move our stop down. I don't know if I want to go quite to break even. We're going to lower our open risk there to our, so we lowered our open loss risk by lowering the stop on ES. I only did that because it's pushed again to this level, kind of wicked below it, but you're looking at the candle bodies, guys. It turned right there again, the same stinking price. Yeah, we're buffering. I think I've got something turned up too high on this. So see where the bodies of the candles, the body of this red candle just stopped right there. So I'm leaving both lines on there because right now you'll see it's pulling to this. So we'll see what happens. But would really like to see a bounce here, or a bounce and a push to break that level. And we got what we wanted on oil. So again, oil, you know, pushing down, and then it pulled back up, and then I wanted it to, we looked for it to test the backside of a retracement line. Now I didn't draw a retracement line, but it'd be across those two highs right there, and that would actually be the retracement line on it. So basically it broke it, you know, pushed back down here, really pushed down here to test the backside of that again, and then we're getting that push up. So that would have been your entry without a signal, because as I mentioned, we won't get another buy signal like we had over here until we print a red circle on it. The top line is our 15-minute, and the bottoms are 1 hour, or middles are 1 hour, and bottoms 4 hours. So those are our trend directions on the higher time frame. So we're only looking to trade. Everything's green. We're going to get buy signals when everything turns back green. So we only want to buy right now. We don't want to sell. Just like on ES, we only want to sell. And then Bitcoin, we're only looking to buy right now. Gold's kind of back and forth. So gold went everything green here. That's why we got the buy signal. That's why we're in. I actually was in on a safety order, you know, break. So we've moved we closed out partial, and on gold we closed out 111. Sorry, I'm on gold. I don't know if I said Bitcoin. So we got in, got 111, and right now, and we moved our stop. So we're in a good position on that. I'll let you know if it pulls back and stops us out, what we lose back on it. Not looking to mess with oil. And we do have 15 minutes. We got oil numbers coming out anyways. So if I was going to take it, though, that's what I'd wanted to wait on, was that pull back down, which we got. So we got an entry without the signals. If I was going to take that pre-news, I'd back this down to like a 2 or a 1. I don't like going with one contract because, you know, I wouldn't trade more than 5 on it. But, you know, you're picking more than one because we like to close out partial. If you don't do that, you have to trail your stop. Looking for that. Looking for these highs up here to hold as it's pulling back up. We'll see. This will be the third run at this price level. So we got the one turning point here. It ran up here to test it. Right now it's running back up. So as it goes back up, we'd want to see that hold. However, it's the third time at that level. So, you know, we've had twice here. It came down and made this price level, pulled back up. It came up, hit it again. So it's tested both these levels twice. One of them is going to give way. I'm hoping that the lower one does, because I'm in it short, and because all our signals are indicators short. So we're going to hold short. If it breaks to the high side, it's going to take us out. So I really don't care about that. What I want is it, you know, we could leave and walk away. It'd be okay for the day on it. Yeah, we're still negative a little on that. We were negative 275 on ES, and then we made 120 closing out partial this, so we gained back some. So we're still down 155. So obviously I want it to break short. Yeah, I see oil's messing around with that trend line. I think we're going to get a deeper pullback on that. If I think it's going to, I think it's going to break this level here. These lows in here. I think it's going to break that and pull a little deeper. We'll see. If we take a loss on this Bitcoin trade, I will be done with it for the day. Actually, I'm done taking new entries anyways. We'll see what oil does, if it does anything off the numbers. I think that's why we're getting this drop on oil. We're getting a little pre-move here. 15 minutes wanting to. So the 15 minute on the indicator on oil, we have to wait for this candle to close. Until the candle closes, we don't know if it's going to be green or red. So you'll start to see, we just had red pop up on it. So the red popped up on that because of this strong move down. That's why we have that. The 1 hour and 4 hour green. So if you take that short right now, you're just trading against the 1 hour and 4 hour. And you're going to see the 15 minute go back and forth right now as it's bouncing. It's going to have to push further. We're going to have to see candle bodies close down here because that long wick wasn't enough to hold it down. So we could still close everything on the day. Be good. What are we up? $20? We'd be up, you know. I'm just counting the morning.
Shares of some quantum computing stocks are spiking after Microsoft announced a new quantum breakthrough yesterday, and it's not the only tech giant placing big bets on
With the numbers we have now, we're up 1,815. Yeah, we were up 17 something until we got that last oil 111 trade. So we're good. Not looking to lose back a lot. So there's our 1150. Guys are quiet today. Yeah, see oil's testing the backside of that trend line. So I'm going to take the upper trend line down. This is one that I drew earlier this morning. So that one's coming off on oil. This one's going to come off. No longer valid. We can take this off. Right now, we could take the retracement line. I'll just leave that on there. But right now it's broke through that. This was our valid trade line up, you know, from this low to this low. The reason why we're looking for that and drawing that because we had buy signals. So if you're going to have buy signals, you're going to look for a place to draw a trade line up. If you got sell signals, you're going to look for a place to draw one down. If it breaks those lines, it does not mean that the trend is over, because one thing you have to remember is that trade lines, you know, trend lines, trade lines, I call them trade lines here because I'm going to take them off at the end of my trade or day. Okay, a trend line is drawn on the chart off a 4-hour time frame or 1-hour time frame. Those stay on longer term. So that's the difference. That's why I call these trade lines. That's why you'll hear me say trade line and trend line kind of interchangeably. So a trade line, again, is something I put on to support my trade idea. That will come off at the end of the trade or at the end of the day. So right now, this trade line up was drawn off of this low and this low because we had a buy signal, and then we had another buy signal. So you're drawing that trade line up. Once this switches over in here, so when it switched here and gave a buy signal, we didn't have a trade line. I mean, you draw it off that little wick to that wick, but once it comes down and bounces here and goes back up, well, now we have a valid point to draw it off of. And then it came back and bounced here, so we moved that. So right now that is still in play because we broke through. We had the retracement line, broke it, tested the back side of it, and now it's pulling back up to that to test the back side of that. So I don't know if this is going to turn. We don't have a 15-minute red yet. It started to look like we did, but that's why we don't take those when 15-minute time frames turn. We're not taking those entries because it's riskier. Because it's against the 1 hour and 4 hour. The 1 hour is the middle, the bottom's the 4 hour, so those are still green. It's a riskier trade. So if you take a riskier trade and take just the top bar, or you're taking an entry, I don't care what trade technique you use, but you should be trading with the higher time frames, and that's what we're doing. We just don't have to peek out. You've not seen me once today look out at the 1 hour and 4 hour charts. I'm trusting the indicator. I'm trusting that if the 4 hour down here is green and the 1 hour is green, I only want to buy. Opposite on ES. If the bottom's, that's the 4 hours red and the middle is the 60-minute red, I only want to sell. I want to look for shorts. So we're trusting that higher time frame look from the indicator. So ES has not broken that. Kind of gone flat here. It has not broken that previous low. So we'll put this up here. I think I'm going to move my stop on ES, and we'll put it to the break-even mark. So right now we can't lose anything back. So again, we were negative 275. We gained 120 on this trade. So we're still down 155, but we can't lose anything back now that we're break even. So on that trade, we're negative 155 so far. And I don't really care. If it pulls back and stops me out, we're going to gain like what, $1 to $4. $1 to $4. So don't really care. We're down 155 on ES for the day as far as I look at it. That may be the way the day ends. So I'm going to leave the trade on, even though we'll cut the stream out. And I'll move the stop if it pushes. It has to push through. Obviously it has to push down here because that's our low to break that we need to break. So if it breaks that and gives us a lower low, once it breaks that, I'll probably move my stop aggressive and move it up in here. Like up above this high right here is where I'd move it. Don't want to do it yet. I want to wait for that extension. I want to wait for the push. See, I told myself I wouldn't look at platinum, but MC mentioned it, so it's still 3,600. And it was at 4,400 last night, so or yesterday at some point when I looked. So again, we could close out everything. We're up. I don't know what number that was. Oh, we're up 1,800 on the morning. That's on the morning. Because remember, I made part of that other back. Yesterday's stream, we cut out at 97.60. And then this morning, it was 12,000. I think when I booted up here, it was 12,263, if I'm not mistaken. So we made up 1,801. That doesn't even make sense. I have to look back. I think I'm missing some trades. No, 263. Yeah. It might have been, I don't know, guys. It was up 12,263. That might have been last night when I went to bed. I think that's when I wrote this down. But anyways, yesterday's stream we cut out at 9,760. So we're up above that. We could close it all out. We're negative 73 or 38, 39, 40. So we could just close it all and be done. It is noon. We got 2 minutes for the oil numbers. I've seen people straddle news. I used to do it on Forex pairs. I haven't done it on anything else. Not gold, platinum, none of that. And your brokers normally don't like that. I can't do that any longer on Forex because I'm trading with the lot size I have now. I'm not allowed to trade news. I can trade news, but I can't straddle. They would kick me out. They'd make me clean my account out and kick me out. So I've been trading with them since 2004. I don't want to give up that relationship. I love the broker. Never had issues with them ever since 2004. That's 20 years. 21 years. It's a long time. Straddling is where you'd put an order up above and below and hope for the best. I don't do that. Normally before news, I try and get in a little early. Like before news. So there's noon. Again, we have numbers coming out on oil here. So you're going to see it flip back and forth because of that. So if you're looking to trade news, you'd want to wait and see what direction the news is. Again, if you were going to straddle, you'd put an order up above this high and you'd have an order below down below this low. I would actually have had it down here. But that's kind of a no-no. It's frowned upon. You can do it on paper all day long. But when you get into a real money account, depending on the broker, they flag them. Well, this is awesome for gold. We're getting to move on gold. So gold, I never drew like a retracement line down here, but that's what we want to see to break. And then the same with Bitcoin. We about got stopped out there. So Bitcoin, same. We'd have a line down from here to here. Looking to see that. Break that line. My stop was pretty close here. And it might get stopped out. We're down like 72. So it'll be like $100. Nothing major. That's why we went in with 4. Taking a small risk. And right now on gold, as it dips back, it decided to not break that this retracement line, even though it popped Pop through it a little bit, wick through it. It decided not to close above. And this candle's not done, so we'll see. But we've already secured 111 on it. So we're not going to lose back a lot. So this will still be a positive trade. Put on 4, closed out 3, locked in 111, and we're in with the runner. So we can lose a little back. Not much. We'll lose a little back at the 111. Okay with that. I guess I should anchor these things. Whoa. Where'd it go? Oh, I got the... there we go. I don't know why that didn't work. I should have been able to anchor that. It's not the lock because it won't move. Oh, it is. See, the lock won't let it move. I should have been able to anchor that. I don't know what's going on. You should be able to anchor these so they don't move. I'm just going to have to drag them. So Bitcoin actually broke its retracement line, which is this one. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, guys. Tracement down. So it's broke that. So we'll see if it holds up. This line I'm pulling. This one here. And then I would want to mark our high here. For that's going to be our high that we need to break, obviously, before we move our stop. So that's going to be the high to break. And we're not going to move our stop till it gets above that high. So if it pulls up and pulls up to that line, I could move my stop halfway or partial, and that would be all I do. Once it breaks that high, we can consider moving it to break even. So it looks like oil chose to go long off this. I don't know if anyone took it. It's up near the previous high, so overall it's done good. And that was our bounce again off the low here. So we kind of a double bottom bounce, and then it's pushed up. So I'm not in it. I'm not looking to take it. In enough. So we've profited enough so far. And then we're up 1,815. And we could close them all out right now and be up 400 something. $4, or be down. We'd gain another $4 with what we got. All right, so I think I'm going to cut the stream. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something or gained something at least. Traded something, made some money. I'll post these out in the Discord with the, I've already got the numbers on here. So what I'm going to do is I may just post these out now, or I'll probably wait and see where the trades go. Maybe at the end of the day, post it. But so far we're up 815 on the morning. Now, as far as the day, since I traded some last night, we're up quite a bit because, again, we were down to 9,700, 9,760, and we're at 14, so 97, So we're up 5 grand from last night, from where we ended the stream yesterday. So up 5 grand as a whole in a 24-hour period, or not quite 24 hours yet. But as far as the morning, we're up 18.15. So good trading day today, even though we didn't hit it good on Bitcoin. We'll wait and see. So hopefully it'll keep moving on Bitcoin and bounce here and go up without taking us out first. We'll see. All right, so I will talk to you guys later, and trade safe.